those kinds of things. But I think it's clear that Trump is not taking his cues from the intelligence community. Again, that's not hidden. He's changing his approach, particularly on things in the Middle East, every couple of hours. And I think it's indicative of this administration. They're just not doing it in a way that's based in fact and intelligence and reality.
What would your counsel be if he were to call you and ask you what to do?
On LA or on the Middle East?
Let's start with the Middle East.
Yeah. So look, I mean, again, my view of what's going on in the Middle East right now is completely colored by doing 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military, right? During those 3 tours, I was constantly being hit by Iranian rockets and mortars and improvised explosive devices that the Iranians use to kill Americans, target and kill Americans. They use terrorism, they use ballistic missiles, and they've been very clear for years that they have nuclear ambitions. So I have a real problem with Iran. That's clear. But I also served in Iraq when I watched this war go on and on and on and become a forever war. Right? I saw what it looks like to go in thinking you have everything you need to do that first strike, and you think it'll be quick and easy. And then you get stuck and bogged down, and you're there for another 20 years. So that's why I asked Secretary Hegseth today, like, what kind of day after planning are you doing? No one doubts that the U.S. military could conduct a serious operation, sophisticated operation. I don't doubt that. But what happens the next day? What happens if a pilot goes down? Are you going to use ground troops? What's the plan when they start attacking the 40,000 U.S. servicemen and women who are in the Middle East? So I think, you know, the administration is having an internal fight, a cat fight about who they want to be and whether they want to do this or not do this. But my view on this is deeply connected to my real problem with Iran and also my real problem with getting into wars accidentally.
Do you have any faith that there's anyone that has access to Trump, who's the ultimate, I guess, policymaker or decision maker here, who has that understanding that you just articulated?
I literally do believe that there is a tug of war going on within the administration. I can hear it. I mean, it's not hidden, right? When you have people like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon coming out against the president, you know, those are kind of his guys, or traditionally were. So I think there's an isolationist group who doesn't want anything to do with it, who sees that we could be on the edge of getting embroiled in something. And then there's a more hawkish group that want him to go. And I think the president is, I mean, he's been open that he has to make a decision. I just want it to be on our terms as the United States of America, do it for our reasons, on our timing, on our, you know, schedule. So because if we're going to risk American men and women, it should be thoroughly reviewed and discussed, not just what it takes to operate and drop something, but what it means the day after.
And Senator, because you asked, let me ask your thoughts about what the best path forward is for the military, now that they've been deployed in Los Angeles. What is the best decision making from this point forward?
Well, the use of the uniformed military in the United States of America should be a last resort. If law enforcement completely cannot control a situation, a governor says, please help me, then fine, right? We've had that happen before, but that's not what's going on right now, and we all know it. I don't know why we're pretending that this isn't for political reasons. Some of the largest numbers of undocumented immigrants in the country are in Texas and Florida, and you don't see one question about putting in a uniform in those places, right? So we know what this is. To me, we should make our military an apolitical body. We should not use them as the arm of any one political goal or political party, because it's bigger than that. And we don't want to set that precedent, right? I mean, the Republican governors would lose their ever-loving mind if a Democratic president sent in the National Guard and Marines to their state without their permission. Kristi Noem was a governor. Ask her. I did. I asked her in her confirmation hearing. They would lose their ever-loving minds. So you don't want to set this precedent for our country. So that's what they should do. Get out of the cities and stop using it as a political tool.
Senator, what did Hegseth come back to you? Did he have any response? Because it's not often that members of Trump's cabinet get confronted with the truth, that they don't